Hi everyone, this is Dango here from Rocky Valley server. In this video, we are going to talk about how to use and how to build Iris. Iris is one of the strongest healer in Langrisser Mobile, and Iris is very strong in both PvP and PvE content. For PvP in Apex Arena, Chinese players were using Iris in Season 1, they were all using Iris in Season 2, and they will be using Iris again in Season 3. So she's just very strong in PvP. And she is also needed in PvE as well. She is actually required to do one of the ancient call. So no matter you are focused on PvP or focusing on PvE, you need to build Iris. And the reason that Iris is this strong is just because she has two teleport scale. One teleport scale, Iris can teleport herself, and the other teleport scale, Iris can teleport her friendly units, like basically allies. Like other allies, other friendly units. Yeah, so this is why Iris is very strong. So basically for the skill that Iris can teleport herself, after the teleport, she will gain an extra buff, and this buff is very similar to Liana's buff. So after this small teleport that Iris teleport herself, she will gain a buff that can heal all ally units within two blocks at the end of the turn. So basically, if you have a very high mobility team and healers except TRS usually cannot catch up with very high mobility team. But with Iris, you can use this teleport skill to catch up, and then after Iris teleported herself, she gained that extra buff that at the end of the turn, she will heal all the units basically within two spots of Iris. So this is a very strong supportive skill. You may not use that skill in PvP battle, but that is the critical skill in Ancient Call. And then the other skill that Iris uses is teleport skill for other friendly units. For example, Iris can here teleport this Leonhardt. And this is a 5-spot teleport, and this is based on Leonhardt's position. So basically, this teleport skill allows you to teleport Leonhardt basically 5 spots away. So this is rather a smaller teleport skill compared to let's say Jessica's teleport skill. So but this is actually even stronger than Jessica's skill, because after you apply this skill to Leonhardt, he actually gains a buff he actually gains 3 buffs. So the first buff is that he will not be affected by the different terrain effect. So for example, if we have water here, this water will not reduce the mobility of Leonhardt. And what's more, this buff also provides the damage dealt by increased by 20%, and then provide the damage received by 20%. So this makes your Leonhardt deal more damage and also more tanky. So regularly the skill will last 2 turns. The reason that it is lasting 3 turns is because this Iris is using the teddy bear, which is from the special time limited gear summon in this in Sakura Wars event. So that teddy bear is just designed for Iris, just to make this Iris burst even stronger. So, but even without that, lasting 2 turns is usually enough. And then, for example, we can do a AoE attack here. This Leonhardt has no faction buff and is probably leaking some gears. But yeah, this is basically why this Iris burst is very strong. She can teleport a friendly unit 5 spots away, and then ignore the terrain effect, and also increase the damage dealt, decrease the received damage, and then ignore the terrain effect. That's just a very broken skill, and this makes Iris so good in PvP battle. And this also needs you to really practice a lot on how to use Iris and how to deal with other people, like your opponent's Iris. So this is basically how you use Iris and why Iris is very strong in PvP and PvE battle. Now let's talk about how to build Iris. So for example, so if we think about how to use Iris, if you are not playing any of the PvP battle, you can just like go this left line and then get this puppet door scale and mass scale scale. And she will also have this first like only like basically one cost heal scale. Yeah, so if you are just focusing on PvE battles, if you just want to do Asian call, and you don't plan to do any of the PvP or Apex Arena battle, you can save 2 runestone for her. This red line is very strong but not needed for PvP content, PvE content. So what you really want to get is just this puppet door and then this mass heal. This is her main PvE skill. But you know, for most of the player, like if you do PvP, you do want to include Iris in your team, and you do want to spend 2 runestones for Iris to get this Iris burst. This Iris burst is basically why she is so good in PvP battle. Without this Iris burst, she is almost, I mean, she is at most, you know, a combination of part of Liana and some other like regular healers. So this puppet doll is also very good, but not strong enough in a PvP battle. This Iris burst is like 100% of the time you will need to carry this skill, and this is the skill that makes Iris special. So basically, if you plan to do like just a PvE battle only, then you can just use the left line. But if you ever plan to do any PvP battle, you have to use Iris and you have to invest 2 stone on Iris. And also the right line Iris has 4 mobility, and you know, the left line Iris only has 3 mobility. So this extra mobility is also one of another consideration. And this right line is actually a very special class. It has very low terrain effect basically. So for example, like forest and mountain area will not reduce the mobility for this class. So it is a very interesting full mobility class. So this is basically what skill you are going to use. So basically for the like what skill you need for Iris. So in real battle for any PvE content, this is basically the standard skill: heal, mass heal, and puppet doll, which is the 3 most commonly used skill for Iris in any PvE battle. For PvP battle though, you probably just don't bring this mass heal skill and use Alice Burst instead. So you will have 2 teleport skill, one teleport Iris herself so that she can stay behind, and then when needed she can catch up and you know, basically catch your other teammates. And then she can also basically, when you try to initiate a battle, this Alice Burst is the key skill. It has super long cooldown, which is 5 turns, so you may only likely to use it like 2 times in a battle. In most cases, you have chance to use it for 1 time only, but in some special case, you know, you may be able to use it the 2nd time. So this is a skill you have to be really careful. It is a skill that can lead you a win. It is also a skill that can ruin your game. So you have to basically really think about when to use this skill. But it is definitely the skill that you will need in a PvP battle. So this is the most commonly used skills in PvP battle. But sometimes, for example, you have Bazo into the field and no one is carrying faction buff for Bazo, and you don't want to carry faction buff for Bazo himself, you can always use mass resist here. So this mass resist basically provides a small faction buff for Bazo, because Bazo just converts a magic defense to the attack. So this can serve as a small faction buff for Bazo. This can also serve as a small faction buff for Luna, because Luna also converts magic defense to attack. This can also be considered as a small faction buff for Listel, although Listel, you know, other stats are also important, like defense also important. So yeah, but mostly, like if you are using Iris and if you are carrying like Bazo and Luna, then you can carry this mass magic resist skill to use it as a small faction buff for them. And then some other case, you will evaluate mass heal a little bit over, than this gold scale, basically, just because mass heal has a very small cooldown. In most cases, though, you will still use this teleport, like self-teleport skill, Puppet Doll, over the mass heal. But in some cases, maybe this mass heal, like if you just consider you really need the best timing heal, like you have to make sure you can heal this turn immediately, then this mass heal is probably a better choice for you, because like over like a 3 turn across, like this Puppet Doll will provide more healing, but just like for immediate healing, this mass heal is providing more healing here, basically. So this is basically how, what are you trying to use for Iris in both PvE and PvP content. The other skills, you really don't have a lot of chance to use them. Maybe in some case you can use this shield skill instead of heal skill, because shield can help you prevent this like basically immune to be healed. So sometimes like burn heart can be very annoying. After burn heart use this sword dance skill, your characters cannot be healed, and it can cause a very huge problem if you are a jugular user, because without full health points and without being able to heal, jugular is actually vulnerable to magic attack and physical attack, because your jugular is maybe you are using last rise for jugular, and if you cannot heal jugular, his last rise cannot be triggered. So in some case, just to prevent this immune to like basically heal block, just basically if you want to prevent heal block, this can be a good choice as well. So this is basically the skill selection for Iris. Next, we are going to talk about Iris talent. Iris talent provides a buff for all the friendly units within 2 spots near Iris. So the buff is about healing. So basically, all the friendly units at the end of their turn, they will heal based on Iris intelligence. At 5-star, they will heal 2.5 Iris intelligence, and then if your Iris is 6-star, which means you need to farm her shards a little bit. So, but at 6-star, they will heal 3 times Iris intelligence. So this increase from 5-star to 6-star is still significant. It's not as important as Chloe, but still very significant. So you can also consider like farm your Iris to 6-star. But but this is basically a buff, a healing buff that provided to your friendly units, and this buff is going to last for 2 turns. And this is basically Iris talent. And then for the troop consideration, my favorite troop for Iris is Sorceress, just because Sorceress is one of the best troop in this game. For example, if you provide like a huge amount of AoE damage to your enemy, and your enemy's tank has like 2000 health points left, Iris with Sorceress can easily finish up killing this enemy. Whereas if Iris is carrying any other troop, she cannot be that aggressive and finish killing your enemy. So this is why Sorceress is one of my favorite choices for Iris. But the other choice include Bolt Ranger as well. So if this is especially when your enemy is very aggressive, you want to play defensively. Bolt Ranger is one of the units that can provide can let your healer be very tanky. So this is not only for Iris but also for T-Aries. And the other troop that you can consider is this Holy Knight. Holy Knight is basically increasing your Iris healing ability. So if you feel like you don't have enough healing from Iris in PvP battle, you can always use Holy Knight. And the reason to use Holy Knight is also because the final class for Iris is going to be the red side class, and this class provides Iris full mobility. And compared with the left side class 3 mobility, this red side class also provides Iris more health points, more intelligence, and more defense. So basically, all the important stats are higher with red class. So although I mentioned earlier that if you are just going for PvE, you may like save 2 runestone for Iris, but really like if you are able to stone Iris, and if you are going to use her in PvP, this red line is very essential for her. Yeah, and this Holy Knight can provide also extra mobility. Like With this, you can move for full mobility for Iris. If you are using this unit on the other hand, although the healing effect is kind of similar, but this one can only move 3 mobility, so that's a limitation. So basically for Iris, Sorceress, Bolt Ranger, and Holy Knight, these are 3 commonly used troops for Iris. And then if we talk about the enchantment, I strongly recommend you to use Crystal, because from the talent, Iris cannot have any talent that increase her healing capabilities. So she really needs something that can increase the healing effect, which is Crystal Enchant can provide. And for access, but the other choice is Full Moon. We talked about Iris can be a little bit aggressive with Sorceress, although Iris has no aggressive skill. With Full Moon and Sorceress, she can deal a significantly high amount of damage. Not high enough that you can kill something, but high enough you can finish up killing something. So that's really your consideration. But in Ancient Call though, generally you will need Crystal. Full Moon Iris will not have enough healing in Ancient Call. Yeah, so basically this is the consideration for enchantment. The gear selection for accessory is going to be Teddy Bear, which we just showed you guys at the beginning of the video. The Teddy Bear can allow the signature skill Alice Burst last 1 more turn, which is very useful. And but you can always also use Holy Rain or one of the better gear for healer, which is Goddess Tear. Alice has no other way of removing debuff for ally units. So actually, Goddess Tear is also one of the better choice for Iris as well. But you can always use Holy Rain or Bracer. With Bracer and this build Ranger, Iris can be very tanky as well. So it really depends on what you have and what you want to build your Iris. If you like, Iris is a character that you need to practice a lot. You will have to figure out how you are going to use Iris. If you need Iris to be tanky enough, then you're probably going to use Bracer for her. But if she is just like a follow-up for, like you are using AoE team and she needs to follow up, then maybe Full Moon is your choice, and then you have to use Sorceress on her. So it really depends on your playstyle. But for SSR headgears, I recommend either the tennis headgear, which provides random buff for your ally units, or this Yagus Raft, which is similar effect compared to SRC Sega head, which basically grants your allies like immune to mobility down and also immune to stun. Immune to stun is getting more and more important in PvP battles. And for the armors, basically you just want this tennis rope. If you don't have tennis rope, you can use Skelix as well. And if you don't have both two, you can use Darth rope. Yeah. So for the weapons, basically Goddess left hand is always the best PvP weapon for healer. If you don't have that, you can also use Red Moon. If you use Red Moon, I strongly not recommend you to use Full Moon, because Red Moon means you don't have this healing effect increased by 15%, which means your allies is really lack of healing effect. So if you run Red Moon with Full Moon enchant, you will not have enough healing effect for Iris. But Full Moon, but you can indeed use Red Moon with Crystal enchant, so that there is a balance between higher intelligence and higher healing effect. The other choice include all the other basically SSR healer wand. You can always use these other weapons. They are better in PvE battle compared to PvP. For PvP, this Goddess left hand is still your best choice. So this is all about how to build Iris. We talked about what scale to use, we talked about what troop to use, we talked about what enchant and what gears to use. So if you enjoy this content, please subscribe my channel. I will be providing more and more this kind of character build in the future, and I will bring you some news from Chinese server as well. And please also like this video if you do enjoy it. I really appreciate it. So this is all about this video, and hope to see you guys in the future videos, and peace.